"Make it fast! It hurts down there!" The virgin bride cried, but the cowboy said, "I'll make it." The morning sun spilled golden light over the wide, quiet valley, painting the tall grass in a warm, gentle glow. Birds sang high above, their cheerful notes drifting over the ranch where today's event was about to unfold. In a small, neat house near the edge of the property, Emma was getting ready for the most important day of her life. Today, she was to marry Luke, the cowboy who had been a friend, neighbor, and silent protector for years. But despite the excitement, there was a nervous tension clinging to her like a second skin. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the delicate lace of her wedding dress. Her mother, though proud and happy, noticed Emma's pale face and hurried over. "Bri," she asked softly, brushing back a strand of hair that had escaped the tight bun. Emma gave a small smile, trying to steady herself. "I'm fine, Mom. Just a little nervous, I guess." Her mother studied her for a moment, then nodded. "Nerves are normal, Emma. You're about to start a whole new chapter. But remember, you're strong. You can handle this." Breath, and nodded.
She had always been strong, or at least she had always tried to be.
Life on the ranch had taught her resilience. But this was different. This wasn't about chores or long days in the sun. This was about stepping into a new life, trusting someone completely, and facing the unknown. Meanwhile, Luke was outside, finishing up last-minute preparations. His hands were rough and calloused from years of work, but he handled everything carefully, ensuring that every detail of the ceremony was perfect. He had been nervous too, though he would never admit it aloud. Today wasn't just any day, it was the day he would promise forever to Emma, the woman he had quietly admired for so long. The ranch was buzzing with activity. Friends and neighbors moved back and forth, setting up chairs, arranging flowers, and preparing the small arch that would mark the ceremony space. The air was filled with the smell of fresh-cut grass, dust, and the faint aroma of wild flowers. Everything looked perfect, yet there was a strange, tense energy in the air. As Emma's maid of honor helped her into the final adjustments of her dress, Emma winced suddenly. A sharp pain shot through her side. She gasped and clutched at her waist, her eyes widening with fear.
"What's wrong?"
her mother cried, rushing to her side. Emma shook her head, tears forming in her eyes. I don't know. It hurts so much." Breath. Her maid of honor gently guided her to a chair.
"Maybe it's just nerves," she suggested cautiously.
But Emma shook her head again. This wasn't nerves. This was something deeper, something that made her feel faint.
"Ow!"
Luke noticed the sudden commotion. He ran toward the house as fast as he could, his heart pounding in his chest. When he reached Emma, he saw her pale face and the tight grip she had on her side. "Emma, what happened?" he asked, his voice steady but urgent. Breath. "I don't know," Emma whispered, her voice trembling. "It hurts. It really hurts." "We'll figure it out," he said. "I won't let anything happen to you, Britt. Just hold on." Emma tried to nod, but the pain made her dizzy. She leaned back, clutching at the chair for support. Luke looked around quickly. The guests were beginning to gather outside, unaware of the situation. He needed to act fast. "Mom, call the doctor!" Luke instructed firmly. "We can't wait."
She might need help immediately."
Her mother fumbled for her phone, dialing the number with shaking hands. Yes, she's in severe pain.
"Please, calm," quickly she said, her voice cracking. While they waited, Luke stayed by Emma's side, holding her hand and whispering words of encouragement. "You're stronger than you think," he said, breaths. "But you can do this. We'll get through it together." Emma tried to smile at him, but the pain made it impossible. Brash. Tears ran down her cheeks, and she squeezed his hand tightly. She had never felt so vulnerable in her life, yet at the same time she felt a strange sense of trust. Luke's presence made her feel safe, even in this terrifying moment. Minutes felt like hours as they waited for the doctor. Luke did everything he could to keep her calm, speaking softly, brushing her hair back, and ensuring she stayed seated comfortably. When the sound of an approaching vehicle finally reached their ears, a wave of relief washed over him. The doctor arrived, rushing inside with a bag of medical equipment. After a quick examination, the doctor frowned. "It looks like a severe muscle strain, or possibly a minor injury that flared up suddenly," he explained. "We need to make sure it's nothing more serious. She should rest immediately, and we'll provide medication to help with the pain."
Emma let out a shaky breath, relief mixed with lingering fear as the pain slowly began to subside under the doctor's care.
Luke stayed beside her the entire time, offering support and encouragement. "See? You're doing great," he said softly. "Just a little more, and it'll get better." Once the doctor confirmed that Emma would be okay, Luke helped her to a more comfortable chair in the shade outside. The guests, now aware of the situation, kept their distance but offered kind words and gentle smiles. Everyone understood the gravity of what had just happened, yet they also sensed the courage and resilience in Emma. For a moment, Emma closed her eyes and rested her head against Luke's shoulder. Brash. She felt the warmth of his hand around hers and realized how much she trusted him, not just today, but for the rest of her life.
Luke's calm presence had turned a moment of fear into one of reassurance and hope.
"I'm sorry for all this chaos," Emma whispered, a small smile breaking through the pain. "You don't have to apologize," Luke replied. "Perfect. But that's what makes it worth living."
"You faced this with bravery, and that's all that matters."
The rest of the morning passed quietly. Emma's pain gradually eased, though she still needed to move carefully. Luke stayed close, making sure she never felt alone. They talked softly, laughing at small jokes and sharing memories, turning a moment of fear into one of connection. By the time the sun was high in the sky, Emma felt ready to join the ceremony, though cautiously. The guests waited patiently, understanding that the day might be delayed. When Emma finally walked toward the arch, supported by Luke's steady hand, everyone held their breath.
She looked radiant despite the ordeal, her eyes shining with determination and courage.
Luke glanced at her and smiled, pride swelling in his chest. "You did it," he whispered. "You faced it, and you're stronger than you know." Emma smiled back, her confidence returning. She felt a surge of strength, knowing that she had overcome fear and pain with Luke by her side. The ceremony could finally begin, but the memory of the morning would remain with her, a reminder of resilience, trust, and the power of having someone who truly cares. As they stood together beneath the arch, the gentle breeze carrying the scent of wild flowers, Emma realized something profound. Life would bring unexpected challenges, moments of pain and fear. But with courage, trust, and the right person by her side, she could face anything. The guests watched silently, moved by the quiet triumph of the bride. It was a wedding day unlike any other, marked not just by vows of love, but by bravery and unwavering support. Emma's heart swelled with gratitude, and Luke felt the same. They had faced a sudden storm together, and though the day had begun with fear, it now shone with hope and promise. The ceremony began at last, with Emma and Luke standing side by side. Every smile, every tear, and every word spoken carried the weight of what they had just endured. And in that moment, surrounded by family, friends, and the vast open valley, they knew one thing for certain. No matter what challenges life would throw their way, they would face them together, stronger, braver, and united. The morning that had begun with fear and pain ended with triumph, love, and a bond that could never be broken. Emma had learned that strength was not just in facing danger, but in trusting others, accepting help, and moving forward despite uncertainty. And Luke had shown that true care and courage could turn even the most frightening moments into something meaningful, lasting, and unforgettable. The afternoon sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the ranch. After the tense and frightening morning, a quiet calm settled over the property. Emma had rested for a while, letting the doctor's medication ease her pain, and Luke stayed faithfully by her side, keeping her company and watching over her with gentle care. Though the wedding ceremony had been delayed, there was still a sense of anticipation and excitement in the air. The guests, understanding the situation, had gathered around in small groups, chatting quietly, their voices a soft hum in the background. Emma leaned back in the shade, sipping water slowly, her thoughts wandering. The morning's events had shaken her, but at the same time, they had given her a new perspective on life. She realized just how much she could rely on others, how courage wasn't just about facing fear alone, and how trust could make even the hardest moments bearable. And most importantly, she realized how lucky she was to have Luke by her side. Luke, noticing her thoughtful expression, smiled gently. "You've been quiet," he said. Thinking about the morning? Emma nodded, her gaze fixed on the distant hills. Yes, and about everything, Bo. I never imagined that something like this could happen on my wedding day. But I feel different now. Desperate. Stronger somehow. Luke reached out and took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze.
That's because you faced it, Emma. You didn't run away.
You stayed calm, even when it hurt. That's real courage. Emma smiled faintly, feeling warmth spread through her chest.
I couldn't have done it without you. You stayed with me the whole time. Luke shrugged modestly. I didn't do anything special. I just wanted to make sure you were safe. That's what matters. The two of them sat in comfortable silence for a while, enjoying the peaceful sounds of the ranch, the rustle of the trees, the soft whinny of a horse in the distance, and the occasional laughter of guests nearby. Despite the tension of the morning, life had returned to a calm rhythm, and for a moment it felt like nothing could disturb them. But then a small commotion broke the quiet.
One of the younger guests had accidentally knocked over a large basket of flowers, sending petals flying across the lawn. The children squealed in surprise, and a few adults hurried over to help.
Emma couldn't help but laugh softly, the sound like a light breeze after the storm of the morning. Luke chuckled too, watching the children scramble to pick up the scattered flowers. It seems like nothing can stay calm for long around here, he said, shaking his head with a grin. Emma laughed again, feeling a sense of normalcy return. She realized that life was full of unexpected moments, both frightening and joyful, and that it was these moments that made it beautiful. She had learned to face fear, and now she could enjoy the little surprises that came her way. As the afternoon wore on, Emma's strength gradually returned. She practiced walking carefully with Luke's support, determined to participate in the rest of the wedding. Every step was a reminder of how far she had come, how resilient she was, and how much she had grown in just a few hours. The guests watched with admiration as Emma moved confidently, leaning on Luke when needed but walking steadily on her own whenever possible. Whispers of praise and encouragement spread through the crowd. She's so brave, one guest said softly. I don't know if I could have handled that. Emma's mother, standing nearby, felt a surge of pride. That's my girl, she whispered to herself, tears of relief welling in her eyes. Brass. She's stronger than I ever imagined. Luke stayed close, always ready to assist, but allowing Emma to take the lead. He knew how important it was for her to regain confidence, to feel capable, and to prove to herself that she could overcome. Eventually, the ceremony resumed, and Emma and Luke finally stood before their guests, hand in hand. The minister smiled warmly at them, and Emma felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She had been through so much already, and yet the thought of finally marrying Luke filled her with joy and anticipation.
As the ceremony began, Luke and Emma exchanged heartfelt vows.
Of course, each word carried the weight of their shared experiences, the morning's fear, the trust they had built, and the love that had grown between them over time. The guests listened in silence, moved by the depth of emotion in their words. I promise to stand by you through every challenge, Luke said, his voice steady and sincere.
Pain, fear, and uncertainty. I will never leave your side.
You are my strength, my heart, and my future.
Emma's eyes filled with tears as she replied, and I promise to trust you, to lean on you, and to face every moment of life with you.
I have learned today that courage is not being unafraid. It is moving forward, even when fear is present.
And with you, I know I can face anything. The guests erupted in applause, and Emma and Luke shared a tender smile. The morning's ordeal had strengthened their bond, turning what could have been a day of fear into a celebration of resilience, love, and trust. After the ceremony, the guests moved to the reception area, where tables were set with colorful decorations, delicious food, and refreshing drinks. Music played softly in the background, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter and conversation. Despite the earlier disruption, the party had a warm and joyful energy, as everyone celebrated not just the marriage, but also the bravery Emma had shown. Emma took a moment to step outside, enjoying the cool breeze and the scent of wildflowers. Luke joined her, placing a protective arm around her shoulders. They stood in silence for a few minutes, watching the sun begin its slow descent toward the horizon. Bay. You know, Luke said softly, today didn't go as we planned. But maybe that's okay. Desk. Sometimes the unexpected moments make life more meaningful. Emma leaned into him, feeling comforted by his presence.
You're right, she replied. I never imagined this morning, but I wouldn't trade what we experienced.
It showed me how strong we can be together. Luke smiled, his eyes reflecting the golden light of the setting sun. And no matter what comes next, we'll face it together. That's all that matters. As the evening approached, the celebration continued. Guests danced, shared stories, and enjoyed the warm, relaxed atmosphere. Emma found herself laughing more freely than she had in hours, feeling a sense of liberation and joy. She realized that life was not about perfection. It was about embracing the highs and lows, finding strength in adversity, and cherishing the people who stood by you. Luke, ever attentive, stayed close to Emma, guiding her gently on the dance floor and keeping a watchful eye on her throughout the evening. He understood that today had been a test of courage, patience, and trust, and he wanted to ensure that she felt supported in every moment. The night grew darker, and the stars began to twinkle above the ranch. A quiet calm settled over the property once again, a gentle reminder that even after chaos and fear, peace could return. Emma and Luke stepped outside to watch the sky, hand in hand, feeling the cool grass beneath their feet and the soft night air around them.
This day has been unforgettable, Emma said softly, her voice filled with awe.
Not because everything went perfectly, but because of how we handled it. I feel stronger than ever. Psst. Luke nodded, squeezing her hand. And that strength will carry us through everything. Today was just the beginning of our journey. They stood together in silence for a moment, letting the tranquility of the night wash over them. The challenges of the morning felt distant now, replaced by a sense of accomplishment, love, and unity. Emma realized that she had learned more about herself in one day than she had in years, about bravery, resilience, trust, and the power of leaning on someone who truly cares. As they returned to the reception, the sounds of laughter, music, and celebration welcomed them back.
Guests continued to enjoy the evening, sharing in the joy of Emma and Luke's union.
And through it all, Emma felt a deep sense of gratitude for the people around her, for the lessons she had learned, and for the unwavering support of Luke, who had turned fear into comfort and uncertainty into hope. By the end of the night, Emma and Luke stood together on a small hill overlooking the ranch. The moon shone brightly above, reflecting in their eyes as they held each other close. Breath. They had faced an unexpected trial, overcome fear, and emerged stronger and more connected than ever. Emma looked at Luke, her heart full. "Thank you," she whispered, "for staying with me, for believing in me, and for being my strength." Luke smiled softly, resting his forehead against hers. "And thank you, Emma, for trusting me, for being brave, and for showing me the meaning of courage. Together, there's nothing we can't face." As the stars glittered overhead, Emma and Luke embraced, knowing that the events of the day had forged a bond that would last a lifetime. The journey ahead would have its challenges, but they were ready to face them together, stronger, braver, and united in love. The morning after the wedding, the ranch woke slowly. The sun rose over the hills, spilling golden light across the open fields, and a soft breeze carried the scent of fresh grass and wild flowers. The celebration from the previous evening had left the house quiet, but the warmth of joy still lingered in the air. Emma and Luke sat together on the porch, sipping tea and watching as the horses grazed peacefully in the pasture. Though the wedding had gone beautifully, the events of the previous day lingered in Emma's mind. The sudden pain she had felt had been frightening, and though she had recovered, it reminded her how quickly life could change.
She looked at Luke, who was gently brushing the hair from his face, and felt a wave of gratitude.
"You've been so patient with me," she said softly, her voice almost a whisper.
"Yesterday it was hard, but you stayed calm the entire time." Luke turned to her with a small smile. "You don't have to thank me, Emma. That's what people who care about each other do. We support one another no matter what." Emma nodded, feeling the truth of his words sink in. "I know, but sometimes it's hard to believe that someone will actually stay by your side when things go wrong." Luke reached out and took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. Breath. "I promised I would, and I always will, no matter what happens." They sat in silence for a while, letting the morning peace fill the space between them. Birds chirped overhead, and somewhere in the distance a cow lowed softly. The ranch was alive, yet calm, a perfect contrast to the chaos of the day before. After breakfast, Luke suggested they take a walk around the property. Emma agreed, eager to enjoy the fresh air and the beauty of the land. They strolled along the winding paths, passing fields of tall grass and colorful wildflowers. Emma felt the strength returning to her legs with each step, her confidence growing. As they walked, they came across a small pond near the edge of the property. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and Emma paused to admire it.
"It's so peaceful here," she said, letting out a contented sigh.
"It's one of my favorite spots. I come here whenever I need to think or clear my head."
And now, I want you to have it as one of your favorite spots, too.
Emma smiled, feeling a sense of comfort in the quiet beauty of the place.
"Bray, I think I already do," she said softly. They sat on a large rock by the pond, their feet dangling just above the water. Luke picked up a small pebble and skipped it across the surface, making ripples that danced in the sunlight. Emma laughed, the sound light and carefree. For the first time since the morning of the wedding, she felt completely relaxed. But just as she was beginning to feel fully at ease, a sudden movement near the pond caught her attention. A young calf had wandered too close to the water and was struggling to keep its balance on the muddy bank. Its small hooves slipped, and it let out a frightened bleat. Without thinking, Emma jumped up. "Luke, it's going to fall!" she cried. Luke was already moving toward the calf, his long strides closing the distance quickly. Brass. Emma followed, her heart pounding. The calf teetered dangerously on the edge, and with a final slip, it fell into the shallow water, struggling to get back on its feet. Luke waded into the pond, steadying the calf with his strong hands. "It's okay, little one. I've got you," he said calmly. Emma stayed at the edge, watching in awe as Luke carefully guided the calf back onto solid ground. Once the calf was safe, Luke stepped out of the water, his shirt damp but his expression calm. "See?" he said with a grin. Breath. "Nothing we can't handle." Emma exhaled, a mixture of relief and admiration washing over her. "You're amazing," she said softly. Breaths. "You didn't hesitate at all." Luke shrugged modestly. "I've had plenty of practice. And besides, I couldn't let anything happen to this little guy. Or to you." Emma felt a warmth in her chest, a deep appreciation for Luke's bravery and calm presence. Breath. She realized that courage wasn't just about facing your own fears. It was about helping others when they needed it most. And Luke had shown her that, in abundance. As they walked back toward the house, Emma felt a renewed sense of confidence. She had faced fear and pain on her wedding day, and now she had witnessed Luke face a challenge with calmness and skill. But, together, they were a strong team, capable of handling whatever life threw at them. Back at the house, they spent the afternoon helping with small tasks around the ranch. Emma assisted with feeding the animals while Luke worked on repairing a broken fence. The sun moved slowly across the sky, casting long shadows over the fields, and the two of them worked side by side, enjoying each other's company. During a short break, Emma sat on the porch steps, watching the clouds drift lazily across the sky. "You know," she said, turning to Luke, "I never realized how much work goes into running a place like this." "It's hard, but also rewarding, Brett."
Luke nodded. "It is."
"Life here teaches you patience, responsibility, and respect for nature. It's not always easy, but it's worth it." Emma smiled, feeling inspired. "I want to learn everything. I want to be able to help, to contribute, and to understand this life fully." Luke looked at her with admiration. "And you will. You've already shown strength and courage beyond what most people ever experience. I have no doubt you'll adapt quickly."
Brr. As evening approached, the ranch was bathed in a warm golden glow. The sky was painted with shades of orange, pink, and purple, and the distant hills seemed to glow with an otherworldly beauty.
Emma and Luke sat on the porch again, sipping lemonade and enjoying the quiet peace of the evening.
"You know," Emma said thoughtfully, "yesterday was a lesson for me."
I realized how unpredictable life can be. One moment, everything is calm, and the next, happens that changes everything.
Luke nodded.
That's true, but it's also a lesson in resilience, Bert. How you respond to those challenges defines who you are. Emma leaned her head on Luke's shoulder. Best, I feel like I've learned so much already, and it's only the beginning. I'm glad you're here with me. through all of it. Luke wrapped his arm around her, holding her close. And I'll be here through everything, every challenge, every joy, every ordinary moment in between. That's my promise. The night grew darker, and the stars began to sparkle across the sky. The ranch was quiet, except for the soft rustling of the trees and the occasional call of an owl. Emma felt a sense of contentment she had never experienced before. The morning's fear, the afternoon's excitement, and the calm of the evening had all combined into a perfect day, full of lessons, growth, and connection. As they prepared to go inside for dinner, Emma looked at Luke with gratitude. "Thank you for everything today. For being patient, strong, and calm. I feel like I've grown so much just from watching you." Luke smiled, a warm and gentle expression that made Emma's heart swell. "And I've learned from you, too. You've shown courage, determination, and a willingness to face the unknown. Together, we make a strong team." Dinner was a quiet, cozy affair. They ate with a few of the closest friends and family members, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet reflections on the day. Emma realized how important these moments were, the simple acts of connection, support, and understanding. They reminded her that life wasn't just about grand gestures or perfect plans. It was about the little things that built trust, love, and resilience over time. After dinner, Emma and Luke took a final walk around the ranch under the starlit sky. The moon cast a soft silver glow over the fields, and the air was cool and refreshing. They walked hand in hand, enjoying the serenity and the sense of peace that came with the end of the day. "You know," Emma said softly, "I think the morning's events taught me something important." "Fear isn't something to avoid. It's something to face, learn from, and grow stronger because of." Brit. Luke nodded. "Exactly. And the best part is that you don't have to face it alone. That's what makes courage real, having someone by your side who believes in you, who supports you, and who never gives up on you." Emma smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I feel like I can face anything now, as long as we're together." And we will. No matter what comes next, we'll face it together, stronger and braver than ever. As they returned to the house, the ranch settled into a quiet, peaceful night. Emma felt a deep sense of fulfillment and hope. The day had been filled with challenges, lessons, and moments of growth, but through it all, she had discovered the true strength of courage, resilience, and love. The next morning, the ranch was bathed in soft sunlight, the air crisp and filled with the scent of dew-covered grass. Emma woke earlier than usual, feeling a calm excitement bubbling in her chest. Yesterday had been a day full of unexpected events, challenges, and lessons, but it had also shown her the depth of her own strength and the bond she shared with Luke. Today, she felt ready to embrace life fully, knowing that whatever came their way, they would face it together. She stepped outside, the morning chill brushing against her skin. The horses were grazing peacefully in the fields, and a few of the ranch hands were beginning their daily chores. The quiet hum of activity felt comforting, a steady rhythm that reminded her of the continuity of life. Emma took a deep breath, letting the crisp air fill her lungs, and smiled. "Ow!" Luke appeared on the porch, holding 2 mugs of steaming coffee. He offered one to Emma, and she took it gratefully. "Good morning," he said with a gentle smile. "Sleep well?" "I did. I feel lighter today. Like yesterday's challenges helped me leave behind some fear." Luke's eyes softened with pride. Breath. "That's because you faced it head on. You've grown stronger, Emma." Breaths. "And I couldn't be more proud of you."
They sip their coffee in comfortable silence, watching the ranch come alive with the morning sun.
The gentle warmth of the day, combined with the tranquility of the landscape, gave Emma a sense of peace she had never known before. She realized that the ranch was more than just land. It was a place of learning, of growth, and of connection. Breaths.
After breakfast, Luke suggested they take a ride through the property. Emma agreed, excited to explore the fields and hills on horseback.
They saddled up their horses and set off, the animals moving steadily through the tall grass. The rhythm of the ride was calming, the wind brushing against their faces and carrying away the lingering tension of the past days. As they rode, Luke pointed out different parts of the ranch, hidden trails, quiet streams, and favorite resting spots for the animals. Emma listened intently, absorbing every detail and marveling at the beauty of the land. "Please. I can see why you love this place so much," she said. "It feels alive, like it has a heartbeat of its own." Luke nodded. "It does. And now you're a part of it too. That's what makes it special. It's not just about the land. It's about the people who care for it and respect it." Emma felt a warmth spread through her chest at his words. She realized that she had found a home, not just in a physical sense, but in a deeper, emotional way. This place, this life, and Luke's presence made her feel secure, valued, and ready to face anything.
After riding for a while, they stopped near a small hill that overlooked the entire property.
The view was breathtaking. The sun glinted off the pond, the fields stretched out endlessly, and the distant mountains rose like silent guardians. Emma felt a surge of gratitude and awe.
"This is incredible,"
she said softly. "I could stay here forever and never tire of the view." Luke smiled, watching her eyes light up. "It's one of my favorite spots."
I wanted you to see it today, to remind you that no matter what challenges come, there's always beauty and calm to hold on to.
They sat in silence for a while, letting the stillness of the moment settle around them. Emma realized that life was a mixture of challenges and peace, fear and joy, uncertainty and clarity. Yesterday had reminded her of the challenges, but today was a reminder of the calm and beauty that could be found in every moment. As they began their ride back toward the house, Emma noticed a small group of children playing near the pond. They waved at her and Luke, and Emma waved back with a smile. She felt a sense of connection to the people around her, understanding that life was richer when shared with others, when kindness and care were extended to everyone. Back at the house, the day continued with small, meaningful activities. Emma helped Luke feed the animals, check the fences, and gather supplies for the coming week. Each task, though ordinary, brought a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. She realized that strength wasn't just about facing dramatic challenges. It was also about handling everyday responsibilities with care, patience, and dedication. During a short break, Emma and Luke sat on the porch again, sharing stories about their childhoods, dreams, and hopes for the future. They laughed at past mistakes, shared lessons learned, and made quiet plans for the life they would build together. Every word, every gesture strengthened the bond between them, creating a foundation of trust, love, and understanding.
"You know," Emma said thoughtfully, "yesterday showed me that life is unpredictable."
But today, I see that we can meet those moments with courage, patience, and care. And that makes life beautiful." Luke nodded, his expression calm and steady. "Exactly. The challenges are part of the journey. They shape us, teach us, and help us grow. Narration. And when we face them together, they become opportunities instead of obstacles." Emma felt a deep sense of peace at his words. She realized that she had learned the true meaning of resilience, not just enduring pain or fear, but embracing the lessons and growth that came from those experiences. She looked at Luke, gratitude and admiration filling her eyes. As the afternoon turned to evening, the ranch was bathed in golden light. The animals returned from the fields. The wind carried the scent of flowers, and the sky was painted in shades of orange, pink, and purple. Emma and Luke took a final walk before sunset, hand in hand, feeling the soft grass beneath their feet and the gentle warmth of the sun on their faces. They paused at the edge of the pond, watching the water reflect the colors of the sky. Emma took a deep breath, feeling a sense of completeness and gratitude. "I feel ready," she said softly. "Ready for whatever comes next." Luke squeezed her hand gently. "And I'll be here every step of the way. We'll face it together, stronger and braver than ever." Emma smiled, her heart full. She realized that life would always bring challenges, moments of fear, and unexpected turns. But she also knew that with courage, trust, and someone who truly cared by her side, she could face anything. As night fell, they returned to the house, the sky now dotted with stars. The ranch was quiet, filled with the gentle sounds of nature. The soft rustle of leaves, the distant calls of animals, and the occasional whisper of the wind. Emma felt a profound sense of connection to the world around her, understanding that life's beauty was found not just in the grand moments, but in the quiet, everyday experiences shared with those we love.
They sat together on the porch, gazing at the stars.
Luke pointed out constellations, telling stories about the legends behind them. Emma listened intently, fascinated and comforted by the history and meaning in the night sky.
By you, she felt a sense of wonder, realizing that life was full of stories, lessons, and moments of beauty waiting to be discovered.
"You know," Emma said softly, "yesterday I was scared.
But today, I feel like I've learned so much about courage, patience, trust, and love."
Luke smiled, resting his hand over hers. "And you have."
You've grown stronger in ways you may not even realize. Life will continue to teach us lessons, but together there's nothing we can't face. Emma leaned her head on his shoulder, feeling the warmth and steady strength he offered. She realized that she had found not just a partner but a true companion, someone who would stand by her through every joy, every challenge, and every ordinary day in between. As the night deepened, the ranch settled into peaceful silence. Emma and Luke stayed on the porch, sharing quiet moments, soft laughter, and gentle conversations. The events of the past days, fear, pain, courage, and triumph, had brought them closer together, creating a bond that would endure for a lifetime. Emma knew that life would continue to bring unexpected challenges, but she also knew that she had the strength, the resilience, and the support she needed to face them. And with Luke by her side, she felt ready for whatever the future held, confident, brave, and full of hope. Eventually, they went inside, ready to rest and prepare for the days ahead. Emma reflected on the journey that had brought her here, the lessons learned, the fears faced, and the love discovered. She realized that life's greatest strength was not in avoiding difficulties, but in embracing them with courage, patience, and trust.
As they settled into bed, Luke held her close, and Emma felt the steady rhythm of his heartbeat.
"Good night," he whispered softly. "Good night," Emma replied, a sense of peace washing over her. "Thank you for being my strength, my courage, and my home. And thank you for trusting me, for being brave, and for showing me the true meaning of love." The night passed quietly, the ranch resting under a blanket of stars. Emma and Luke slept peacefully, knowing that together they had faced challenges, discovered strength, and embraced love. They were ready for the future, whatever it might hold, with courage, resilience, and a bond that could never be broken. And in that quiet starlit moment, the world seemed full of promise, hope, and endless possibilities. Life would continue, filled with ordinary days and extraordinary moments alike. But Emma and Luke were ready. Great. Together they had learned that fear could be faced, challenges could be overcome, and love could make every journey worthwhile.